On December 11th, 2023, I celebrated my 30th birthday, and man, it felt fantastic. I've always embraced and welcomed birthdays with open arms because each year I'm continuing to step into and create a life by intentional design. I continue to add more of what I enjoy while at the same time eliminating distractions, energy vampires, or things that are no longer aligned with my life. My 20s have been all about experimentation, testing, trying, and learning. If I could hit the reset button and do it all over again, I wouldn't because I'm so proud and grateful for the mindset, perspective, and experiences I've developed and have had along the way that have made me into who I am today. I wanted to take a moment today to recognize some of the most important lessons I learned in life, in business, in my 20s, and hopefully pass along one, a few, or all to you. To be honest, I sometimes forget that I had to learn these lessons for myself. They feel so second nature today, but there was once a time I didn't know these truths. This podcast episode is selfish because it gives me an honest moment to reflect on the last decade, but I really do hope it can help some of you who may be navigating these topics currently in your life, regardless of what decade you're in right now. These lessons are not listed in any specific order. I value them all equally. Why did I choose 11? Because I was born on the 11th. It's my favorite number, and I could easily have pulled out 100 lessons. So to be mindful of your time, I trusted my heart and went with the ones that spoke most to me right now. Lesson number one, there is no such thing as failure. So many people are afraid to take that first step because of the fear of failure. What most don't realize is that the failure does not exist. Every decision, choice, or action we make is either a winning decision or a learning opportunity. We either get exactly what we're looking for or we learn something along the way, which is only going to help us improve for the future. As kids, we had to learn how to walk. We likely fell more times than our parents can count, but that didn't stop us from getting back up. We continued over and over until we could walk on our feet fully. Use that same perspective with business and life. What do you really have to lose? I'll answer that for you. Nothing. I've learned 10x more from my mistakes than I have from my wins. Both are equally great and valuable, which is why I welcome them each with open arms. Come to Bobby. Start the business. Ask the person out on the date. Attempt doing something that is so foreign and uncomfortable. You're either going to get exactly what you want or you'll learn something through the process. Now, that's what I call a win-win. Lesson two, 1% growth per day. You're likely spending 99% of your time and energy thinking about the future and where you wish you could be rather than focusing on the present moment in your current reality. What you need to do is flip it. Instead, spend 99% of your attention focusing on what you can do today that will set you up for better tomorrow. I'm not saying you can't think about the future. You need to have some idea of where you want to go, but maybe spend 1% of your time thinking about it daily. Use it as a little 5-minute visualization activity that inspires and motivates you for the day ahead, but that's it. Not only have I seen an increase in my daily productivity from living like this, but I also move through the world so much more gracefully. Instead of being all pissy and bent out of shape because I'm not where I want to be, I'm instead walking through this world grateful to be able to work on my dream life every single day. When you're living the 1% day mindset, you start to appreciate the small wins daily while also being realistic about what you can accomplish within a 24-hour period. You begin to develop inner peace, understanding that the to do list will never be fully complete. And that's okay because you have tomorrow to pick up where you left off. This is the mindset of the top 1%. Lesson number three, you win the morning, you win the day. This philosophy is what has helped me prioritize my mental, physical, and spiritual health each day. I would not have the foundation of a well being that I have today if it weren't for this mindset. It's not about waking up the earliest. It's making a choice to prioritize first thing each day before checking the phone, answering emails, or working on your business. The first thing that I do after getting out of bed is not check my phone. I put on my workout clothes, sit down and meditate for 20 minutes, and then either run or go to the gym. After I've showered, made coffee, and sat at my desk, then I open myself up to the world to check my phone. My personal self-care routines help me be my best. So it's better for me to hold off on everything and everyone until I'm operating at the highest level version of myself. When you prioritize your well being first thing each day, you create massive momentum for the rest of your day. This is your chance to fill up your cup first before helping to fill others. By checking off the habits and routines that are most important to me first thing, you no longer have to worry about squeezing them in or finding time to do them in your day because you've already created the time before your day has even started. Win your morning so you too can win the day. Lesson number 4, use the scraps on the side of the road if you have to. It amazes me how many people are blocked in life right now because they believe they don't have all the necessary tools, technology, or resources to get started. All I'm seeing and hearing are excuses. What you need to do is be resourceful and make it work with whatever you've got. You want to start running? Use whatever shoes you have access to and get out there to complete your first mile. You want to start creating content? Use your phone to shoot and edit your first video today. Want to feel more inspired in your workspace? Organize the area and finally toss out anything that serves no purpose. The reality is, you are way too focused on having the right tools when you need to have the right mindset. I used an old dining table inside my bedroom to start my first podcast. I didn't have some fancy studio, which would have been nice, but that didn't matter. There's also something to be said about being more inspired each time you level up and make progress. There are so many examples of successful people in this world who started with nothing and still found a way. Sometimes having access to too many resources can cause overwhelm and indecision. Think outside the box, get creative, and make use of whatever you've got for now. Lesson number 5, put it on the calendar. Routines create discipline, and discipline creates results. It's in our best interest to create routines for the areas of our life that are most important to us. And we can do that by scheduling them in advance. Insanity is doing the same things over and over again, expecting a different result. You not taking responsibility for how you're spending your time, but wanting different results is the same thing. A few years back, I was stressed out that my dating life was terrible and women weren't attracted to me or giving me any time or attention. It wasn't until a few months later that I had an epiphany when I realized I hadn't put myself in a position to date or meet new women in years. So, how could I expect the result to be any different? I needed to start carving out time to date, which changed everything and then led me to Caitlin. Get crystal clear on what's important to you in life right now. This will change depending on the season of life you're in, and that's okay. Once you're clear, start to map out your daily, weekly, and monthly schedule so that how you're spending your time is aligned with your priorities. If it's not on the calendar, it won't happen. Lesson number 6, the comparison trap is robbing you of your potential. When we compare, we're giving away our time, attention, and energy to others. We're pretty much saying to them, hey, I see what you're doing. I wish I could be there. But instead of me taking action and working towards that, I'm just going to keep watching and wishing that I was there. We allow ourselves to compare our chapter 23 to their chapter 93. The reality is that comparing yourself gets you nowhere. It's the sticky glue that will keep you stuck right where you are for as long as you continue to compare. There have been moments in my life where my entire day was spent thinking about the wins of someone else. I couldn't focus, think, or act normal because I was so caught up thinking about them. I had to learn how to let these thoughts go and instead use their wins as my personal fuel. You need to do the same. Let their wins, their lifestyle, the car they drive, the seat they sit in when traveling, their relationship, or whatever be your motivator for what is possible in this world. You need to see it, to believe it, and then create it for yourself. Are you ready to design a lifestyle that is aligned with your goals and priorities so that you can see massive success both in your personal life and business? A journey towards a balanced and fulfilling life involves navigating through 4 pivotal phases. Phase 1, personal audit. Phase 2, map out your dream life. Phase 3, create your calendar. Phase 4, build your personal playbook. These involve seamlessly integrating work and personal life, nurturing self-care, enriching life experiences, and cultivating relationships. In my 12-week Lost to Limitless one-on-one coaching program, I will take you through this process. And by the end of the 90 days, you will have taken back control of your life and feel more excited for where you're headed. This program includes 12 coaching calls, a personal accountability partner, personal tracker with recorded insights, a support system for crafting solutions, unlimited text and email support from me, and remote coaching. There are 5 spots currently available to start immediately. Let's make 2024 the year that everything changed for you. Head over to bobbyhobert.com/coach to learn more and apply. The link will be in the description. Lesson number 7. If it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. If there's any of these lessons you take and put into action, I hope this is the one. You saying yes to every invite is draining you of your time, energy, and attention and money. Not only that, but your mental health is being damaged from all the regret of not wanting to go and wishing you didn't have to do something. Here's the truth. You're an entrepreneur because you want to take the path less traveled and create a life for yourself. The beauty is you too can control how you're spending your time with. With that being said, if it doesn't fully excite you, then your best bet is to pass and create space and time for something that does. Even as I write this, I have things on my calendar that I previously committed to, but I know I need to back out of for a few different reasons. Do I feel bad? Sorta, but I also no longer allow myself to waste time by people pleasing and making sure everyone else is fine and dandy. If I ain't about it, I'm pulling out. I have too many other things and people that deserve the attention. Evaluate your current calendar and pull back the things that just aren't in alignment with you anymore. It will feel so freeing and fulfilling taking responsibility for how you spend your time. Lesson 8, smell the damn roses. There's more to life than seeing growth on social media, your daily orders, or your personal bank account. Yes, those are all very nice things that we all want to see, but don't lose sight of the fact that life is meant to be experienced. You're not a human doing, you are a human being. You keep telling yourself that once you reach a certain goal, then you'll have time, you'll be able to carve out time for the gym, travel, or finding a life partner, etc. Excuses, excuses, and more excuses. The reality is that once you reach that goal, the next peak is in sight and you are back at square one. You can achieve massive success with your business while also living and enjoying life along the way. The journey really is the reward. And I want to encourage you to take the time to smell the roses when you can. I've experienced burnout more times than I can count because I was so hyper focused on working all the time. I attached my identity and self worth to my business, so I could only feel a sense of peace when I was building. This mindset was toxic and unhealthy, and it took me years to repair and change my perspective. Now I live in balance and get to experience all aspects of life within the same week. It is magical. Give yourself permission to live a little along the way. When you're laying on your deathbed, you won't be thinking about all the money you made, but rather the people and experiences that were part of the journey. Lesson number 9, find people whose strengths are your weakness. I once heard this great quote from Nick Bare, founder of Bare Performance Nutrition. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. The reality is, it's impossible to do everything yourself. Even with the development of technology and AI tools, you still need more than just one person to do it all. Who, not how, is the way you should be thinking. Get clear on the very few things that you excel at and enjoy the most, and then delegate everything else. This will allow you to go deeper into the few things you love most and put people in place to take over areas that may not be your expertise. When I decided I wanted to develop my personal brand deeper last year, I didn't even consider trying to attempt it on my own. It would take years of experience for me to learn and understand color palettes, fonts, design tastes, etc. Instead, I hired a graphic designer and let him lead the project. This created more time for me to work on my business, which generated more money and helped me pay for the service. Remove the expectation that you need to do it all yourself so that you can start bringing in the right people. Lesson number 10, give yourself permission to make pivots. When something doesn't feel right, it's time to switch it up. Rip off the Band-Aid and make the pivot. Let go of all the excuses that come up with why you can't or shouldn't make the switch up and just do it. The faster you put into action, the sooner you can move on to the next chapter. Back in the fall of 2019, I was getting ready to pause my first podcast, Purpose in the Youth. I had hosted the show on a weekly basis consistently for 3 years, and I was a bit nervous to make the pivot. Inevitably, I did. And through that process, I learned to give myself permission to make pivots to any area of my life that I felt the need to. Regret committing to plans with someone? Cancel them out. Not enjoying the workout schedule you have planned this week? Try something new. Want to restart this podcast after a 16-month pause? Let's fire back up a new episode. Feel the emotional need to want to change something, commit to it, and then put action behind it. Life is never going to be picture perfect, and what you thought you wanted to change with time, that's okay. Give yourself the permission to switch things up when needed. Lesson 11, process is greater than results. 99.99% of your time will be spent in the trenches doing the work. Only 0.01% of your time will be spent celebrating the goals that you set out to achieve. What does that tell you? You need to find joy, love, and gratitude in the day-to-day process of your life, of both inside and outside of your business. When you find joy in the process, you're thinking less about reaching the end destination, which makes life playful and fun. You get to truly enjoy the ride of the journey instead of being miserable, anxious, and eager to reach the finish line. The reality is, the finish line is a mirage. You never really get there because once you do, the next mirage appears in the distance and you're back to it. How do I know? Because I'm guilty as charged, Your Honor. I used to put my happiness in the hands of results, which was stupid given that it was completely out of my control. What is within my control is showing up each day and the small actions I choose to make. That's now where I find my happiness in the process of the day-to-day grind of building and creating my dream life. I encourage you to start finding love in the process rather than results. It will lift the weight off your shoulders and allow you to live with clarity. Questions from the community. Kyle, your what ifs or any regrets you have, whether it's something you did or didn't do. As I read this question, I paused to reflect and appreciate how much inner work I've done in my 20s. I can honestly say that at this moment in time, I do not spend any time thinking about the what ifs or have any regrets about what I could have or what I did do. Ultimately, every decision, choice, and experience has led me to who I am today, and I'm grateful for the highs, the lows, and everything in between. I wouldn't have the mindset, perspective, and attitude I have today if it weren't for my past. And I wouldn't trade it or change it for the world. I will say that no matter how well your life goes, there will always be the what ifs or potential regrets. But I challenge each and every one of you to not spend too much time holding on to the past. Let it go so you can feel inner peace right here, right now. Bobby asked, time and focus spent on dating while building a business and brand. Long story short, I avoided dating for most of my 20s because I felt it would be a waste of time and a distraction from building my business. However, in the last 16 months, I have learned that this belief couldn't be further from the truth. The right partner will be by your side every step of the way. They will encourage you, cry with you, dream with you, and share wins with you. They'll help remind you that life isn't all about work and be there for you when you hit a wall. They don't steal time and focus from your business. If anything, they help you find the right balance and be more effective and efficient with your time. Like anything in life, it takes effort. I thought that turning on my dating life after being off for 3 years would be easy. In reality, I had a lot of work to do because I lost touch with the do's and don'ts of early dating. But with time, when I found Caitlin, it became clear that she was the right person, and I wanted to find a way to balance both my business and her. So, for those thinking it's a waste of time or a major distraction, I challenge you to ask yourself if there's something deeper that you're avoiding, because for me, that was the cause. I was afraid of getting heartbroken like I did when I was 22. Challenge for you. I understand that not everyone's birthday is happening in December, but the good news is we are near the end of the year. So, what better time to reflect on 2023 than right now? Take 10 minutes within the next 24 hours and jot down 5 to 10 lessons that you learned this year and how you can take them into 2024. Don't rush this process. Take your time and really think through these lessons that you learned. Resources that I have for you, head over to bobbyhobert.com to learn about my newsletter, my free Master Your Minute video course, and my coaching program. That is linked up in the description below. The best way to support this show, if you enjoyed this episode, please screenshot it or share it via on Spotify to your IG story. Tag me at Bobbbaaaay. That's B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y. Share this podcast in your IG story. Let me know what's the biggest takeaway. What did you learn? This is a huge way to grow the show, and I greatly appreciate those that do so. If you have not yet already, leave a review on Spotify. We are currently at 132 reviews, a 4.9 rating. Let's go. Please leave a review if you enjoy the show. And if you're an iTunes listener, you can also leave a review there. We're at 95 reviews at a 4.8 rating. So love to see it. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. It's the Bearded Man Podcast.